Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of 8-Bit Upstarts. My name is Nate,
I'm Tommy.
and we are currently sitting at the time of recording about 1.5 days from the
Just
release.
under
Yeah,
36
just under.
hours?
Yeah, from the early access release of Starfield, which, not gonna lie, if you've been following, if you haven't been following, a little excited, kind of excited for this one.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it's been the only thing I'm thinking about for the last week, but it's been the only thing I've been thinking about for the last week.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so it's been painful. Like literally, it feels like it's been painful
Yeah.
to just like come on. It's like, whenever you get that thing where it's just like when it's gonna drop, and it's just like it just as it gets closer, it just everything goes slower and slower and slower.
Yes. Exactly. And sometimes work isn't even enough to sometimes you get into work and you're like you get into your groove and that just makes time go. But it just feels like these last couple days of work have just even been super slow. It's like I look up and it's been 3 minutes and I'm like, all right, come on.
Yeah, it's like, oh, but then you just think this time tomorrow I'll be this much closer. So
Right, yeah.
but so for us here in our time zone, we are expecting a really early access release of I believe it's 7 p.m.
I think so, yeah.
On Thursday the 31st. Yeah, that's right. There's 31st.
Yep.
There's 31st days in August.
They're correct.
But
Well, I know you've been able to preload because
yes, I just got the option to preload last night, which I did not hesitate
obviously.
to do. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't even want to. I like, yeah, I can't play anything while it's preloading, but I can make that sacrifice.
Oh, for sure. And it probably, I mean, I saw you said it was like 90 gigs. I've seen roughly that from other people.
Yeah, and which is so I'm assuming there's going to be a little bit more, and also probably day one patch for well. So do you think early access gets a day one patch, or do you think they wait
Yeah,
until day
so
one?
no,
Like
I
officially
saw
day one.
I saw I from the article I was looking at this morning, I'm pretty sure there is going to be a day one patch on the early access day, and that will be, carry over for the people who get it on regular release too. But
Okay.
I'm envious of you because since I have it through AMD rewards, I still do not have a code yet. I cannot preload at this point, which is I've talked about this before. It's a very first world problem to have. I'm just really hoping that it, worst case, maybe at 7 p.m. on the 31st is when I get the code. So maybe I can't pre-release, but I can still, or preload, but I can still get it downloaded like right when everyone else can start, like right when you can start playing it. That way I only have to waste maybe like the better part of an hour for it to download. Maybe I can still play it a little bit on Thursday night.
Yeah. So, and the reason, well, I'm curious because I'm assuming there's still going to be more, not just the day one patch that's going to have to be downloaded, because I'm pretty sure up until yesterday when I did the preload that it said it was like 130 like gigabytes.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming there'll be some more, but again, first world problems.
Yeah.
I can't wait half an hour.
Yeah, exactly. I think and I don't know this for sure, but I'm just trying to think like why it wouldn't be full, like the whole thing. It's probably to prevent people from like somehow figuring out how to play it early if they like,
Yeah,
preload all of this, all this stuff except for like these like this like what 40 gigs or whatever you're missing of like other content, then like or without these like main binaries and stuff, like you can't even run the game, and that's probably like maybe how they did it.
Yeah, which would make sense. I mean,
Right.
They've sent out so many review codes too, and even just the fact that it seems like for the most part people are abiding by the embargo, the review embargo.
Yeah.
And the few that have come out and actually like, I guess you would call them leaks. They've I've been avoiding them, which
Yes.
that's kind of been my game plan. Um, I I I'm walking like a fine line, really, where I'm getting as trying to get as much content about Starfield as possible, while also trying to
With
not read content about
Yeah,
Starfield.
it's like do you think it's like, because this is how I look at it, like I want to like read something or like know some like facts, but I don't want to like physically see it. Like, to me, like, it's not spoiling, I guess, if I'm reading about it because I haven't seen it. And then like once I see it, then it's like spoiled. But even, I don't know, like for me, like knowing the ending to something doesn't really spoil it, because like I still get to experience it. You know what I mean? So, but I am trying to avoid like actually seeing footage as much as possible, just so that I don't like, not that it's going to sway me one way or the other,
Yeah.
but I I don't want to see it, but I want to know things. I want to know, like the one thing that I think I sent you the other day, that character planner, like where
Right.
the guys taken, or like from all the data that that's been like, in the direct and like other things, and then like data mined, they put together what the skill trees might look like. I went through and looked at most of those, because that doesn't feel at all like spoilery to
No,
me.
I'm actually I spent quite a bit of time looking through it as well. It doesn't feel like for me us like a spoiler or leak to what per se, but because it's like there isn't really anything in that they released that's just like, oh my god, I wish I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's just like it actually for me helps a little bit, because I'm just like, well, I won't say it helps, because it is really daunting to try to figure out how the heck I'm going to play this game.
Yeah, well, like what we were talking about, I went through, because I Googled too. I was like, does Starfield have a level cap? And everything I've seen shows that it doesn't. So then I was like, okay. So I went through and like clicked every single skill, all up to its fourth level, skill, to see what level that would put you at. And what did I say? It was like
It's like
326 or something.
326. Yeah.
Yeah, which is like insane. And the only thing that character planner doesn't have, which again, it's, we don't know for sure how the skills are set up, but I have to think it's probably similar to like, Fallout, where
It
it was
does
like,
seem
you
a
can't
little
do just
Fallout.
like,
You have tiers
yeah, like,
of
like you can't
each
just do
skill.
1, 2, 3, 4. You have to be like level something to get the second level of this particular skill. I would assume.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No, no, no. That's kind of what I'm feeling as well. My biggest gripe, if you could call it a gripe, is just that, and I think I said this to you yesterday, is just that I want all the skills.
Yeah.
And I know that that's not going to be like probably very feasible in this first run through,
Yeah.
when I do it. And being it is a Bethesda game, I'm going to do my best not to fall into just the stealth archer role.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I was like, so what's going to be your path to Stealth Archer? Like, what are you going to attempt to do first before you end up going to Stealth Archer?
I know. So I did see that there are some like I always love unarmed builds. I saw that there were some
Interesting.
skills for that, but those anytime I do an unarmed build, that's usually not my first run through,
Yeah.
because I feel like that takes like I feel like at least with Bethesda games, like playing an unarmed build kind of you miss some cool stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So like I would rather like play a build that like gives me access to like I can choose to do a lot of different things, whereas because it's just like I feel like if you're gonna go with like an unarmed build, you really have to focus down that one path.
Yeah.
So that is gonna be saved for another playthrough. But my first and most likely main, I really am excited for the building, like the outposts, piloting. I think I'm basically just gonna throw a lot of points into just any perks that kind of align with like being able to fly your ship well, being able
So
to
you're
make
gonna
your
go
ship
like
bigger.
space pirate.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. Um, but we'll see. The planner thing we've been looking at, it's not 100% like confirmed,
Right.
right?
I
So
no, yeah, I don't. I think it does seem like
it seems pretty
pretty
fleshed out, but
close.
yeah.
I think I don't know where they got a lot of the data because I don't know where they got specifically like the higher tiers of the skills, like
Hmm.
the, third and fourth level. So I don't know if like those are guessing or if they got like I don't know. I didn't look at where they sourced any of their data, but
Right. But
I would be
it does
interested.
seem pretty fleshed out, so I'm assuming it's going to be at least somewhat close to what
Yeah.
they posted. So, but yeah, that's most likely. I mean, I just since Fallout 4, I've like been obsessed with like building settlements, and
It's
Preston Garvey notwithstanding.
yeah. It's that's so interesting though, because even taking Preston Garvey out of that conversation and how annoying he is to go save settlements, like the building settlements part was just like not my forte. Like I did it enough to do it, and then I was like, I can't. Like I either don't want to put forth the effort to like understand it better, or it's just not my forte, or a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. So it is really interesting. And I'm obviously like, I don't think the outpost system is going to be exactly like the settlement system in Fallout, but
No, it seems more modular
yeah,
than what it sounds like from everything I've seen. Whereas Fallout 4 was very like you basically have just this blank canvas within this restricted area to build whatever the
right.
heck you want.
Which is
So
super cool. Like that's such a like awesome thing to let people like I mean you and like people I see online build like insane looking stuff. And I'm like I can't even like fathom how you got to like where your brain went to make this. But I think that because I've been trying to figure out if I just want to lean into Stealth Archer first, so like let's just do it first character, get it out of the way, or if I want to like do something different, like go heavy into the like I think the spaceship aspect is really cool, like being able to build your own ships and then like the space fights and stuff like that. I also want to know how much. I have so many questions that I'm
yeah.
hoping you can answer. But like because there's all the stuff about like cargo and being able to transport cargo, and there's gonna be like contraband and stuff, and I'm really interested what that mechanic looks like in the game. Like is that gonna be like a viable way to make money and like all this kind of stuff? So if that look like depending on how that's going, I might like go for a character that does a lot of that as opposed to a stealth archer out the gate.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm very curious to see how I guess the economic stuff in this game is gonna how fleshed out it is. So
Did you see that one of the traits you can pick is like you start with a house on like a really peaceful
yeah,
planet,
yeah,
but then
yeah.
you have a loan that you have to pay.
Yeah, that's
And
actually really cool.
yeah,
I thought that was neat.
yeah, I did too because I'm like one, I want to see what this house is like because like
Yeah, right.
having like a home base straight out the gate of the game is pretty sweet because like in any Bethesda game, I mean even in like Skyrim, like you have the pre-made houses in like Whiterun and like some of the other towns. Then the expansion lets you build, but like for me, it's like whatever one I find as my first one, I just use that one, and I don't really do anything else.
When Skyrim, like going through Skyrim, I always went to Breeze Home.
Breeze
in
Home,
Whiterun.
yeah, and Whiterun.
Yeah,
Just it's super tiny, but it does all the things I need, and then we're perfect.
yeah, exactly.
But the the fact that you have a loan that you have to pay, like that part is really intriguing to me because typically, I mean, depending, I guess, on how frequently you have to like pay this loan, I
I think it
usually
said
find so much
weekly.
money. Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah.
Well, I
So
wonder how that will affect like your money, like how, like you said, the economy and like also like looting and stuff. Because normally I get to the point where I just have so much money in like
hmm
Skyrim and Fallout that it's like, you know, I'm just super rich, but I don't like spend it on anything. So
hmm
I don't know if it's going to be like, I'm going to pay off that loan pretty fast because I'm just going to get all this stuff, or if it like really hamstrings you because it's so early in the game that you owe this loan. Also, what happens if you don't pay it? Can they
right.
repo your home
Or they
or
send somebody
foreclose your
after you.
home? Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, I mean, I'm really curious. It seems like they've definitely added some little like nuggets of like new things that haven't been present in previous Bethesda games, while also keeping some of the same, I'm sure, same aspects that make Bethesda games Bethesda games.
Right.
But you know, it's I don't know. I'm really excited to
I
see.
am too, dude.
I feel like I know so much, and I also feel like I know so little as well.
I know. Well,
So
in
I
like,
think that's the right where I want to be.
yeah, for sure. There is something to be said kind of a game that drops super unexpectedly. That's really good. But I think with Bethesda games, this is like the sweet, like you said, like that's the sweet spot. Like knowing, because it's a Bethesda game, so we have intimate knowledge of like what to expect, which I find a lot of the um, negative opinions online right now feel like they're coming from people who have never played a Bethesda game in their life. Specific, like one of the big things I saw was like the performance being like capped at 60 frames a second in a world right now where we're, you know, pushing 144, refresh rates are really high. There's a lot of people that seem to be angry, but like I don't think Bethesda has ever released a game that is not capped at 60. In fact, like Fallout 4 could not go above like 74 frames, otherwise the game would break because like the way the game is built, the engine it's on, like all of the animations are built for 60 frames. Like once you go above that, the animations get fast and everything gets screwy. So it's like I assume, because this is still the creation engine, I assume it's probably something similar keeping it at 60, which like again, I have no problem with because it's Bethesda. The story is what I'm there for.
Right. Yeah, and speaking of like story, I know dialogue options are a huge thing.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
did you see the number that they put
It was
on?
like almost 250,000
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, which like Skyrim they compared to Skyrim it was like Skyrim was like 67,000
yeah, it's
or
basically like almost
something.
three times as much, 3 or 4 times as much dialogue. So
Yeah.
I think that should make people happy because that was, I know, a big gripe for some people for Fallout
Yeah.
4. They just thought the dialogue was just not up to par. Personally, I didn't really care too much.
Yeah.
I
That's never been big for me. I could see it being a problem for me if it's super like weak and there's not a whole lot, but like I guess the thing about Fallout that bothered me was like I like to see exactly the words I'm going to say. Where in Fallout 4 it was like you had your like sarcastic, you know, affirmative or whatever,
yeah,
and
like
you would
yes,
hit that.
no, and then
Yeah, and you'd hit yes, and it'd be like a different way of saying yes. And I'm like, I mean, it gets the point across, right? Like that nothing changed about that, but I would rather see, which there was a mod for, but like I would rather see exactly the words I'm going to say.
yep. So that'll be, I think that'll be interesting to see kind of just how fleshed out that is. But again, I mean, the bigger is better. I would say at this point, like,
Yeah,
even
more
if
is
it's
better.
kind of weak, just having that many options, like that much different,
Yeah.
like content.
Be It'll be interesting to see if it's like, because you know in like like Baldur's Gate again. I know your pain, but like that, you could talk your way out of like pretty much every situation. I'm
Right.
curious, and I know we talked about like there you can't really go full pacifist, but I'm curious like if there are more situations that you can like talk yourself out of because there are more conversation
I would have
options.
to believe so.
Yeah.
And I think there's also a lot. It sounds like there's going to be a lot more like faction options too.
Yeah. Do you know what
Uh,
you're gonna side with?
Not yet.
Or are you gonna do three characters like I'm debating about doing?
Yeah,
Like
well,
for
yeah.
sure.
I'm sure I'll hit every option at some point. But I'll probably do the. I can't remember what is it like the Sanctum Universum,
That's what I was leaning toward too, because it's the Freestar Collective, the I think Sanctum Universe. I could look it up, and then that's the Serpent
the
one.
Great Snake. Yeah,
Yeah,
or
which
Great
like that
Serpent,
one,
whatever.
that one seems cool. I bet there's probably some cool story that comes out of that. But
Mm-hmm.
like the kind of what is it? The negative that comes with that if you don't jump drive a lot, you like start to lose health and stamina. And I'm like, I think I need to understand the game more before I
Yeah.
realize how impactful that is.
Right. No, and that's kind of how I feel as well. I'm sure I'll get to it at some point in some build, but probably not going to start off with it.
That could be your unarmed build.
That
Like
could be my unarmed build.
that
We'll
that,
see.
that seems like that almost would go hand in hand. I don't know why.
Hand, hey,
Hand and
nice.
snake.
Hand and snake.
Nah, that's not
Hand
a
in
good.
hand.
Yeah, hand in hand. Yeah.
But I did. Oh shoot! I just lost my train of thought. I did see that there were some skills that are just like you're more equipped to be in like outer space than on a planet,
Yeah.
and vice versa. So
And do you know if the trait? I don't think traits are required, right? Like it's similar to like Fallout New Vegas or whatever, where it's like
so
you
it said
can
you can
pick
have up to
these.
3, but you don't have to take any if you don't want
Okay.
to.
The only one I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take every single time was that wanted one, like where you have like, people are after you, and so occasionally you'll land somewhere and then you'll have mercenaries trying to kill you. That just seems like, I mean, they do tend to like hit you at inopportune times, but that just seems like too much fun because then it also gives like you a damage boost when you have low health. So I think I'm gonna take that on every single character. But
Yeah, probably.
the
That was
space,
pretty good.
yeah, and the space and like you were just talking about the one like being acclimated to space or being acclimated to like the ground. I don't know if I'm going to take that on my first character because I don't know, like, again, with health and stamina or oxygen, like how much is used and like how necessary it is and all these things. But that'll definitely be something I try on like a second or third or 17th character.
Only 17. Uh, yeah, and I agree. I mean, I I've kind of made peace with the fact that I'll probably, like, obviously I won't be able to hit everything in the first playthrough.
Which,
But
does that not bother you as much as it bothers me?
so I've kind of like reluctantly made peace with it, that I'm just gonna have to I'm gonna have to make a new build most likely for each option I want to do. So yeah, it does bother me a little bit. I mean, and not in like a negative way. Like, I mean, this is a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, exactly. I just like, I think I, when I'm doing a playthrough and I hit something that I like fail a skill check or whatever, so I don't get to see what happened, I'm like, I get upset because I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to see what happens, so I'll have to start a different character to get there. But by the time I leave this area, I will have forgotten everything about this, so it doesn't even matter. Which I guess on one hand, like, then it's a surprise later, but I'm also like, what if it was super cool and I'm never going to remember to go back to do this thing?
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of instances of that happening in this game. Just judging by like we said, the amount of dialogue options that are being provided, and then just the sheer amount of like skills and everything, like in the planets. You might come across this really cool. I mean, plus because everything's really, not everything, but a lot is procedurally generated. Stuff. So it's like each playthrough, it's like, okay, maybe you get to one of those procedurally man, that is like a really hard word to say at 8 o'clock in the
Procedurally
morning.
generated. Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's just like you don't get that opportunity again if you start a new playthrough because it is
It's
generated.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like now I did see that like they said I believe this is how they explained it, but like they will like anytime you get to a one of these generated planets that they drop just like a point of interest on that planet, so you may get the same point of interest but on a different planet than what you did
Right.
on a previous playthrough, but you're not
Yeah.
guaranteed that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's,
it's definitely something you have to be like, and I'm sure other people probably are like they don't care, but
yeah.
like I think it's like because this is such a new thing for Bethesda where like in Fallout and Skyrim it was like, yeah, okay, you failed a skill check here because of this thing. Next playthrough, you can go exactly to that spot again, and it's the same. So this one, it's like we're definitely like it's new and it's different, and it's one of those things that's like, oh, I hate change or whatever. So, but it could be super cool, right? Like it could be
and I'm trying to
awesome.
keep an open mind on that, so
Yeah,
we'll see how that plays out. But and kind of going off that, there's been some talk about the whole thing that planets aren't completely 100% seamless. you know
yeah,
it's like there are actually borders to
like land,
areas that you
like
can
yeah,
yeah.
like when you get to a planet, you have like the main city if it's there on that planet, and then like your landing zones, and those are all like what I've seen referred to as tiles. So you can't go seamlessly from landing zone to the city. You have to like what I assume like instant. It's like instanced, or whatever. Which like I didn't even realize that that was going to be a thing. I guess everyone's really mad because like that wasn't really how they explained it, or they didn't do a good job of explaining that at like the direct or anything, right? Like that seems to be, from what I've seen, the bigger point of contention is like it might not be this bad if they would have explained that from the beginning. But I mean, to me that gives off a lot of like the Outer Worlds vibes, because that's kind of that had that like pseudo open world feel, but it was still like
Yeah, but it was
instanced.
yeah, basically it was still a bit linear
Yeah.
and like what you could do and
But
where
I
you
do
could
feel
go.
like these tiles are much bigger than like the Outer World. So it's
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
is it going to be like, does it kind of stink that like you're in a tile that should be maybe next to the city and you can't see the city and you can't actually get there without having to like either go to your ship and then land at the city? I don't know what, how that maneuvering about that will look, but like, are you going to have like potentially hours worth of game time in that one tile? Also, yes. So it's like, is it really as bad as it seems? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be anywhere near as bad as some people are making it out to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, probably they probably could have explained it better, but I honestly, if you didn't even know that like there was a boundary, would you even care? Like, would you even like be able to
Right.
find it? I mean,
Yeah.
we're at a point where these people that have these early review copies are just like doing like they're trying to I don't want to say break the game, but they're
Yeah.
like pushing it to its like limits, and then then kind of criticizing it for not having
Yeah. Right. I mean,
it's
that, and
kind of
that's
hard to
kind of the
explain, but
point.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like but it's like a game this big, there has to be some limitations. How can you expect that to be as big as this is, it has to have some kind of boundary, right? Not, I mean, and I mean that like literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
that it's just, I mean, come on.
Right. Yeah.
I
That's
don't know.
like I don't know. Again, like the boundary thing is a thing that's kind of new to Bethesda because that I mean, you go into buildings and then that would be instanced or into
Hmm.
dungeons and that would be instanced and I think that'll probably be the same. But like the open worldness of Skyrim and Fallout was, you could literally go anywhere. So this is different, but again, it does feel like a lot of these like negative things are coming from people who have never played a Bethesda game before. And it's like all of these things are like none of these problems seem like a real problem to me. And so it's like outrage for the sake of outrage almost, or it's
Well, yeah, and also especially because it is like early access.
yeah,
They need something to talk about, right? Other
yeah,
than just this game is awesome or this game is bad. It they have to have something to,
to
I don't
report
want to say
on.
just criticize, but
Yeah, it does.
we all know it's clickbait in a way.
Yeah,
It's,
right.
it drives it drives more engagement. So
But speaking of like reviewers, because they all have codes or have had codes for a little bit now, so they can write these reviews. By the time we upload this to YouTube, the embargo will either already be lifted or go. Because I think I said it's supposed to be 8 hours, or I think I read it's supposed to be 8 hours prior to the early release time, so around noon mostly. Are you gonna read any of the reviews when they go out?
I'll probably pick up a few. I know there have been some I guess you would say leaks on reviews that have said it's just amazing.
Yeah,
I can only read the same art, or not, I can only read different articles saying the same thing
yeah,
over and
yeah.
over again, that this game is great. Okay, cool. That actually doesn't help me because I can't play the game yet. So this is only making things worse.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'll still. I mean, yeah, I'll probably read like some of the bigger publications, their reviews. IGN and whatnot. I think Eurogamer was another one.
I actually saw. I think it was Eurogamer. It was one of the UK gaming media companies. They did not get a review key until either yesterday or the day before.
Oh,
And there
okay.
was some like controversy about that. So like they released again, I can't remember. It was a UK based one. I don't remember if it was Eurogamer. Whoever is like the editor in chief wrote an article. It's like our review will not be dropping when the embargo lifts because we haven't given it enough time to play it yet. Because at the time of writing, they hadn't got a key. An hour after they posted the article, Bethesda sent them a key, and then they kind of reiterated. They're like, "Yeah, I mean that's great, but we've got it like 2 or 3 days before the embargo or the game releases, so our review won't be out." And then it went into some detail about how their parent company didn't get a key, and then like another offshoot got a key, but with explicit instructions to not give it to Eurogamer or whatever the one I'm talking about was. So that was like I read all that and I was like, that's super weird. Like it really seems like they gave them to mostly United States based media
Right.
to review, which is like very bizarre to me. I don't know like what the rationale is behind that, or if that's just simply a procedural like miss on something, but that just I don't know why you wouldn't give every like major media outlet a key if
Yeah,
you're even
just give
giving
them
it to like
time
some
to review it, basically.
yeah, even if you're giving it to like some YouTube reviewers early who aren't as big as like some of these media companies. It's just like I don't know why I don't get it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Who knows what the backstory is on that? But yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It is kind of weird, but that I I mainly use IGN for reviews when I can, but I don't know, whoever posts first is really going to be the one I'm going to be reading.
There's probably going to be like a dozen that drop. Like they have their articles ready for like 12 p.m. and as soon as 12 p.m. they're all going to open, and then we're just going to see
release.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna, because like I never really like, I like reading reviews because it's good to see like people's perspectives, but I usually don't let them like sway me one way or another, especially because like I already got the game.
Yeah, exactly. I just needed to confirm my already.
This is all
opinion.
just positive affirmations for me.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's there isn't really anything that anyone will say at this point that won't make me not play this game. Like,
Yeah,
so it's just
pretty much.
I don't even know why I even bother reading. But like, other than just like you said, just that affirmation that, I was right.
Yeah. Oh, this game. Other people do like this game. Ha.
But so speaking of the embargo, like you said, it should be lifting tomorrow, as of this recording. But for those, obviously, for the ones and ones of people listening to this on the moment our podcast drops on YouTube, you'll probably
You mean
be able
us?
Yeah, exactly. Wait, you actually listen to our podcast? I know.
Yeah, I like to listen to myself interrupt you and then hate myself for it.
Yeah, I like to listen to it so I can hate you too.
Yeah.
So
Hey, whatever brings you to listen, right?
Yeah, right. Just to get those views.
We need those views, baby.
But going back, there has been a game this big. It's basically impossible to not basically get those early copies out. We talked a little bit about prior to this this recording that like early copies have reached people's hands, and like people were like distributing them to other people.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, I guess it's weird that like, well, I guess it's not weird because it's like it kind of, for just about every product, like for a worldwide release, it just makes it into the hands of people. Like it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about like the early access like review copies that people send out, but like legit, like this was not supposed to actually have been given out yet, kind of.
Yeah.
Are
you referring to the guy that was in, I think, Memphis that got arrested?
Yeah,
because he had all the early copies.
Yeah.
That was such a funny story to me, because like they say he stole the copies, and I don't know where or how he acquired them, but then he like posted some videos of him playing, and then he posted a video of him and how he thought the game was like awesome, and he tagged Todd Howard in his post, and I was like, man, that's like, honestly, like, props to that guy, because that takes some balls. Like, yeah, hey, I stole your game and a bunch of copies, and I've been selling them, but dude, this game is sick. And it's like, okay, I mean, honestly, like, if you're Todd Howard, I would be like, hey, I think I'm gonna let that one slide, because like we got some good press out of it.
yeah, they did. I was gonna say, it's like, it'd be one thing if he came out and said like, God, this game is trash, and
Yeah,
it's like it wasn't even worth stealing in the first place.
Yeah.
But it is pretty funny, because you're basically just like rolling out the red carpet for the cops to come, banging on your door. So, but yeah, I also agree that I think it's great publicity for Bethesda, because it's just so ridiculous, but it's also positive,
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's people make not smart decisions sometimes.
Yeah. But it do be like that sometimes.
Sometimes it do. But
yeah, so Starfield is gonna be great. I
It's
think
gonna be awesome.
it's the sentiment we can take away.
Yeah. So, and so with that, we're not going to spend the whole episode talking about Starfield as much as we would love to. We probably
Just
could just
most
keep
of
going.
it.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
most of it.
I think our next week's episode we both will have played at least a little bit of it.
A
So
little
we'll
bit.
have
Jeez,
yeah.
I got a 4 day
I'm
weekend coming
I'm
up.
trying to pretend like we have lives outside of video games, but I guess
Yeah,
that's why
right.
we started a video game podcast.
Yeah, right.
So we'll definitely have a lot more, of our thoughts next week, which I'm excited to talk next week about. I'm gonna try and avoid because I want our conversation next week about like our thoughts to like not be to be a surprise. Like I
Yeah,
do want to
something we
hear.
haven't like discussed beforehand.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to like message you other than like, oh man, this game's amazing. But I'm not gonna try and like say too much because hopefully by the time we talk, we'll have like cool things that happen to us individually that we can talk about. Then make the other one excited to like maybe stumble upon that in their version of the game.
Or it's like, wait, you can do that?
Yeah. Oh, that's true too. Funny thing about that, when Skyrim dropped, when I was living in a house with all my friends from college, two of us got it on the release day. We got it for the 360, and so we're playing it. Comes out. I think it came out on a Friday, and so we were playing it like the whole weekend. I think it was Sunday when we were playing it, and I had we'd been playing, and I accidentally tapped left bumper, and that's the sprint, or left or right. I can't remember which one's sprint on the Xbox. And I did not, at that point, we did not know you could sprint. And so I remember yelling, I was like, dude, hit whatever bumper. And he starts sprinting, and I just hear from the other room, what? So we had spent like 48 hours not sprinting in that game.
Wow.
So I do hope we have one of those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think moving on from Starfield is what we're trying to
switching
get.
gears.
One thing, now that Starfield is about ready to go live, the Elder Scrolls 6 has now moved into active development, which, if you're already excited for the game that's going to come out in 4 years,
I feel like 4 years is generous.
that's true. It'll probably be longer. Like, it'll probably be 2030 by the time that game comes out, which...
Yeah, and I'll still be playing Starfield.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'll be playing that. And I'll probably still Skyrim too, right?
Yeah, right. We'll get the 30th anniversary of Skyrim.
With more fishing.
Yeah. Well,
Space fishing.
I'm assuming, judging by the popularity of the Skyrim 10th anniversary edition, where they gave you all like the creative club content. I'm assuming they're going to do something similar for Fallout 4 when that hits its 10th.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I feel like I'll probably be picking that up as well.
Naturally.
There's actually some really cool content, like mods, like official mods in the Creative Club in Fallout 4. I just never purchased any of them because I just don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend the money
that.
on it. Like when the Creative Club first started, they gave you 100 credits.
Which can buy you nothing, right?
Yeah, it buys you nothing. I still have that 100 credits in my... I've not bought one thing. They'll give you free stuff every once in a while. Usually it's just skins,
Yeah.
or paint jobs. But I still have that 100 credits that they gave me from the get-go.
Do you think that'll transfer over to the Starfield Creative Club?
No, of course not. As much as I would love it to, but I'm also I was trying to get away from Starfield, but I'm curious to see
me too.
How they're going to handle the release of the Creative Club.
Yeah, me too.
Or Creation Club, sorry.
Or they might have a different name, or no? I guess it's the same name.
It could be a different name. I guess my question is it going to be there on release, or is it going to be something that they just roll out later down the road?
Yeah, I guess we haven't really heard, because usually when they release the dev kit comes out too, or whatever they call.
So I feel like they probably want to give modders time to work on it before actually rolling out a place to sell those mods.
Yeah.
But Anyway,
Anyway, yeah.
yeah, moving on. So Elder Scrolls 6 in production. Um, we can't wait to talk. Hopefully, best case scenario, we're still doing this when it
Yeah,
comes
that's
out,
yeah. By
but
that
we'll
point,
see.
we might have 10 subscribers.
Let's not get crazy here.
Yeah.
But let's just ship away from
Yep.
Bethesda as a whole, Bethesda games. So right now, Steam currently has a strategy sale
Yeah.
going on.
Steam Strategy Fest going on, started on the 28th, going until the 4th.
Okay. It stinks because it's like I like some strategy games, and there are some that I think I probably would enjoy if it wasn't the same week as the release
Yeah,
of
I
Starfield.
know. It
So
does. Yeah, I mean, and it does look like you were saying, like there's like this is a pretty big like sale because it's like turn-based, card and board, settlements, tower defense games, like anything that could be remotely considered strategy, which obviously those all are. I'm just not a big strategy guy, although I do love tower defense games. So it's like I'm at least looking to see if maybe there's a good deal that I could, snag a game that I'm gonna play later. But it's pretty big. Unfortunately, not many games on my wish list are on sale right now from that. But
although I did see Sea of Stars officially released.
oh, it did. It did,
Yeah.
didn't it? The game that one strategy game we talked about, was it Farthest Frontier? Is that
Yeah,
what we talked about last time? That is on sale, 15% off right now.
yeah. I think
but it's still early
still in
access.
early access, right?
Yeah.
I probably am just gonna wait for the full release on that one.
Yeah, me too.
I am looking forward to it. And I did take your advice from the previous podcast, and I snagged Banished,
Oh, nice.
which
Have you played it?
I have played it. I'm probably about 10 hours in,
Okay.
and it really sucked me in. I'm not gonna
Doesn't
lie.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it you really have to like keep on it though. Like you have to be like really involved with like your settlers. So basically, for anyone that doesn't know, Banished is like a settlement building strategy-ish game. It's more settlement management or city management,
Yeah.
kind of like you have to manage like
Resources.
your resources, what your villages are doing, like what they're assigned to, and like you kind of like I found my very first playthrough, I everybody died within like a half an hour.
Yeah. That'll happen.
So second playthrough has been a lot better. I'm kind of getting a better hang of it, and it's like I'm realizing that it's like, okay, it's winter. I don't need somebody working the fields, so I just
Yeah.
send them off to fish. So you're getting like maximum value from like from those switching those roles to just constantly like, but that's what I mean by like you have to be like on it. Like you have to be
Yeah.
like making sure that, okay, I don't need somebody, picking fruit because again, it's winter and there's nothing to pick. So I don't need somebody assigned to this. I have better use assigning them. But then also as soon as that weather changes and it hits spring, you're just like, oh, okay, I got to put everybody back in the fields,
Yeah.
back in the, to do these other things. But even so, it's just like I had one bit where I thought I had plenty of food, and then the next thing I know, it's just like ding ding ding, like 8 people
Tanks.
just died.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's once you like figure out the mechanics and like all of that, you figure out that that cadence of like how fast you can expand. And then like I love going back and just playing that for like a couple hours at a time and just like making whatever settlement I last worked on just like slightly bigger and bigger. That's like my only gripe is there is no end game, right? Like it's just making the settlement as big as you possibly can while keeping everyone sort of happy, which like for me is exactly enough. Like I couldn't like do the like battling that comes with like an RTS or whatever. Like I just
Right.
can't manage the troops kind of aspect of it too. So like that this whole like everything else about Banished is just like it's just pleasant. It is just so
It
much
is. It
fun.
just yeah. It's not. It's like the perfect amount of stress. Like
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you have natural disasters turned on?
I believe I did.
Which
At
it
least I hope
really
so
is
because I've been building things that like are used for that, like dealing with natural disasters. So I
yeah.
don't want to have to have wasted all the resources on building building something I don't need. But yeah, I haven't run into any yet. The only thing I've run into is just disease, like the flu. Just went through.
Oh, interesting.
So, but again, I'm not like crazy far into it. You know,
Yeah.
I have like 20 like villagers that are actually like
Hmm.
working on something. I had like almost 30, but then they all died.
And they all died.
Which is funny because last night I I was playing it last night actually, and I stepped away from the computer for like 25 minutes. And I thought I had pressed pause.
Oh no.
I did not press pause. I came back and I just like where did all my villagers go? And I was like I look at my list and it's like dead.
Oh
Just
no.
everybody's gone. So thankfully I'm just gonna go back to my previous save
Reload
and
save. Yeah.
yeah, reload save. I was like whoopsie doo.
Oof.
So, but just that just gives you an idea how fast that game can change,
Yeah.
and like turn you on the side. But it is fun.
Yeah.
It's not like a huge like graphic, masterpiece. It's pretty low, like
Yeah.
low quality. I don't want to say low quality because that's
Yeah.
mean.
I mean,
It's
like,
exactly like where it needs to be.
yeah.
I don't need like because like my villagers look like ants because
Yeah.
it's almost like top down. It's that angled like top down kind of view, but it's like I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those. It's almost like for the people that play like Stardew Valley. It's just you have chores.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a good
You
way.
just do your chores, and that's what this is. This kind of is. It's like okay, you just keep a functioning society together.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah, and that's like that I think it has like so much burst play potential. Like that's what I like about it is like I'll be playing other games, I'll step away from Banish for a while to play other games, and then after I, get bored or like I just need a break from those other games, I can just like fire up Banished and play it for like a couple hours and just like I know exactly what I need to do and it can just I can, waste that time doing that and like see the progress and then I'm like, all right, I'm good. So like that's how I end up playing it is I just like get back in and I just like burst play it for a while and see if I can how big I can get that settlement and like go from there. I did try you can and there's a lot of mods on the community page, the Steam like workshop, sorry.
Yeah, I haven't checked any of those out yet, but
Some of them get like because right now the game like the vanilla game is like super simple like I mean like in terms of mechanics and everything there are some mods that add so much to the game that I can't like it's too much for me and so
right.
I've been trying to find that right combination of mods that give me enough extra stuff that but don't overwhelm me personally. But I know there are like some of those mods, like some people love like how they work and what they add to the game and everything, which like I do want to try them again. I'm just not ready for it. Also, there's not gonna be any time in the near future for that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I agree with that sentiment. It definitely like since I'm just playing it for the first time, I can like dump quite a few hours
Yeah.
into it. But I think it will be that kind. It'll fill that kind of niche where it's just like I'm burned out on Starfield. I'm not gonna get burned out on Starfield.
Don't say blasphemy.
but it's just like if I just want something different,
Yeah.
I kind of get that mood over me sometimes, and it's just like it's something I can just like click in. It loads up super fast. It just like goes straight into the game,
Yep.
and you just kind of just immediately go. It like takes like a couple minutes maybe to like go from
Yeah.
like the Steam page to actually playing the game. At most,
Yep.
it's a couple minutes, but
That's awesome though.
so
I'm glad that you played it and you seem to be enjoying it.
yeah,
Um,
I was like, okay, Tommy played something. I'll check it out. And
one for one,
this,
baby. Let's
yeah, this
go.
this one time you finally got it right. Um, but yeah, I definitely recommend it. I mean, it is an older title,
Yeah.
older title.
Yeah.
Um, when did it release? Was it
I was just about to look it
2014?
up. Yeah, 2014.
So gosh, it's almost been
That's
10
and that's
years.
also the only game that company has on Steam,
Oh
which
wow.
I find it crazy. Like I think they did such a good job on that game that like I don't know why there isn't a Banished 2 or like a different game that they put out. Because I think they hit it out of the park with that, and I don't know if maybe
Mhm.
because it's indie they didn't maybe make enough money. I don't know. Like there's a lot
Yeah,
of questions
I mean,
there.
who knows? There's a lot of, I mean, video game companies can fold in a heartbeat.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, hopefully they're working on they have plans for some not even if it's a sequel or just another game
Yeah, it's just a
itself.
different game. Yeah.
So maybe just something to keep an eye on. But yeah. Not really much else I have to talk about today, but like again, this is just unfortunate timing that we're literally the day before release, and
Yeah.
but next week's gonna be awesome.
Next
So
week I I definitely feel like overexcited for Skyrim, but I'm trying to tell myself that like it's fine. Like yeah, are there going to be things in the game that you may not enjoy? Yes, but that can be said for pretty much every game
yeah,
I've ever played. So it's
right.
going to be fine, and you're going to enjoy it. So that's why I
I'm
even stopped
just
really playing Baldur's Gate, honestly, because I just feel like I cannot commit more to the game because I'm not going to play it, which is
I'm
sad.
trying so hard to like temper my expectations.
Yes.
As I know I won't. I know I'm super hyped for this, and everything I've seen, heard, read, has kind of confirmed how I already feel about what this game is going to be like. So that only like makes my excitement more like makes me more excited. It's
Yes.
like I'm doing everything I can to temper myself, but it's not working.
I know.
Because it just sounds like this is going to be an awesome game. Now it's just the waiting. It's just the waiting,
Yep.
and it's
This
and
is
it
the
stinks.
last this is the last day that we have to live without Starfield being out.
Yeah, basically, it feels good, feels right. So, but so we'll kind of wrap it up here. We we expect our next episode probably to be pretty Starfield heavy, even probably a little bit more than than this one was.
Yeah.
Which we weren't even really planning it to be this Starfield heavy on this one.
There's just so much to talk about.
There really is, and there's only going to get more info by next week.
Yeah.
And we can then give you kind of our review, and I am also curious, like you said, where I want to see your reaction to how the game plays, how different our experiences are up to that point. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thanks for listening, everybody. We're gonna close it out, and as always, if you like what you're hearing, please follow us, like,
Hit
and
that subscribe.
hit that ding.
Yeah, hit that bell.
But God, it's one of my
I know.
most. It's one of my
I
most
know.
like pet peeves of like YouTube videos is
I
that,
know.
oh, smash that like and subscribe, yo.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
but unfortunately, we have to say it because we really need you to do it. Because let us know that you're enjoying what you're listening to. Always, please, feel free to drop a comment if there's any games that you're playing that maybe you want us to like look into and check out and talk about. Please, by all means, let us know.
absolutely.
There's so many video games out there. There's so many indie games, indie developers. We just physically can't get to all of them, right?
Yeah.
So if there's a cool one out there that you like, that you want us to check out, please let us know, and we'll do our best to try to check it out and not you know talk about Starfield all the time.
Yeah, I feel like eventually that will start to wane. Like, well, next week will be big,
Yeah,
maybe
I
the
mean,
week after, but
of
after
course,
that
like
we'll probably start.
the pre-release hype is
It's so large.
so large, yeah. So there's a lot to talk about, but once it actually drops, we're not going to have anything to talk about. This is going to be like a 10-minute podcast after that. So, all right. So we're going to close it out. Thanks everyone for listening. My name is Nate,
I'm Tommy.
and we will catch you later. Bye.
See ya.